Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back. Before this video starts, I gotta tell you, I am no longer in the medical field. I was an x-ray tech when I was, so I don't know about this. I am not a doctor, obviously. And, I'm just a person who experienced reoccurring UTIs through menopause. And so I'm going to tell you what happened with me, because I think it may be helpful if you're like me and you don't realize you could save yourself years. Not trying to say this is what you need to do. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is what I did to solve that problem. What the purpose of this video is hopefully to make you realize that the reason that you're having the reoccurring UTIs in the first place could very well be if you are in menopause or beyond because of no estrogen. It's been at least a year ago. I told you guys that I would give you a health update, that there was things going on with my health, and I didn't want to talk to you about it until I felt like I had it licked. What was going on was reoccurring UTIs. It had gotten to the point where I was living on antibiotics, and not prophylactic antibiotics. I mean, they were talking to me about having to take a low-dose antibiotic every day for the rest of my life. The antibiotics, quite frankly, were making me sick. Every single day my stomach was upset. It didn't matter what I did. I was just, ugh. I didn't end up going that route. I actually went a route that I said I'd never do. And it's been a year and 2 months since my last UTI. And most women, when they think about menopause, they're thinking about that horrible mood swing change. It's like PMS on steroids. We're pretty much all familiar with night sweats and hot flashes. And because most of you are my age, you probably have already done research and know that the whole thing is caused because of a decrease in estradiol, which is a hormone. It's a form of estrogen, and it dries up. Things get thin down there, it gets dry down there. And this all contributes to the problem. But 40% of the women who go through menopause will wind up with GSM before it's all said and done. And apparently 40% of us, especially after the age of 65, will end up with this in one way or another. And this actually could have been solved for me probably 15 years ago. What was happening then was I was getting about 3 UTIs a year, which I thought was because of the pee pants thing. After my last child, and like almost every woman who's ever had a child, after you have the child, whenever you sneeze, cough, laugh really hard, you might lose control of your bladder and pee a little bit in your pants, all right? Okay, well, that went from that to I'm like constantly leaking all the time without even laughing or anything, just constantly not able to hold it. It's called Incontinence. I had it, and I was willing to wear these poise pads, maybe even Depends, except I kept getting a UTI. So I had like 3 in a year, and that was way too much for me, and I went to see a urologist. At that time, there was a new procedure, that relatively new, that they were doing. It's called Mona Lisa Touch. Part of this was me with a closed mind. Part of it was him for not explaining it better. Because he led with the Mona Lisa, before talking about anything else, I'd already closed off my mind. It's a procedure where they resurface, then regenerate, and start producing enough estrogen anyway that you would not get UTIs. But in my brain, I'm not understanding what estrogen has to do with UTIs. I didn't get that. If you brought out the words estrogen, hormone, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I'm closed off. You do not have access to my brain anymore, because in my mind, he's wanting to do anything but what I'm there for, which what I was there for was, please make me stop peeing my pants, okay? I want you to take care of the incontinence issue so that I don't have to wear poise pads anymore. And when this problem is resolved, I will stop having UTIs, because I know that the reason I'm having UTIs is because I'm peeing in a pad all day. That's why. from that visit, I decided that I would go talk to my gynecologist. And it was time for my yearly exam anyway. So I made an appointment with my gynecologist and we do my exam. And he asks how I'm doing. And I tell him, I'm really embarrassed about this incontinence issue. I'm getting UTIs now. I've had 3 this year. I went to see a urologist. He's trying to push that Mona Lisa thing on me. He goes, well, we can do that here. I go, I don't want that. I mean, he's pretty much telling me the same thing that the urologist is telling me, but I'm like, okay, let me ask you this. Is it going to make me quit peeing in my pants? Well, no, it has to do with the estrogen. I'm like, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I am here to talk about me peeing in my pants. That's what I'm here to talk about. And that I keep getting UTIs because of that. He doesn't explain it to me either, but he tells me I can do the sling operation on your bladder and that will stop. And I thought, there we go, bingo, that's what I'm talking about. Let's do that. That was in 2016. I schedule the surgery, we get it done. Not telling you to, but we'll tell you, I'd do that again. It's super nice to be able to laugh and jump and walk and everything without having any leakage. Wonderful, I'm fixed, right? And then I get a UTI. And it went from just getting 3 to this is all the time, to the point where I'm actually buying these because I would no sooner get off the full round of antibiotics and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's back. And if you've ever had a UTI, you know that you know what you know. These test strips I'm showing you because if you are having problems, and it's cheaper to do it this way, and this brand hasn't been wrong. So I had to have a bunch of these around because I knew that I'm going to go 14 days on this antibiotic, and then I'm going to come off of it, and then boom, it will be right back within 3 days. And I could do it like clockwork. I could tell you, I can feel myself going into a UTI. Stay on the antibiotic for 14 days, come off. In 3 days, I start feeling like I'm going to have a UTI. Take a test, see, yes, you do have a UTI. Take the azo that comforts the symptoms. Run off to the immediate care clinic because the doctor's office is always closed when you get a UTI. Go to the immediate care clinic, get the antibiotics, start all over again. I learned a lot about antibiotics during all of this too because, you know, they're not all created equal. Even in the urinary tract line, you know, some of them don't work. What if none of these work? Okay, what if we get to the point where I'm resistant to all of these and the UTIs are not stopping? I can't imagine going my whole life feeling the symptoms of a UTI and not being able to get any relief. So I made another appointment to go see another urologist, and these are supposed to be really good urologists. And they told me, okay, well, basically you've got a couple of choices. You can either use estradiol, and I said, that sounds like an estrogen. And they said, that's because it is. You can either use estradiol cream or we can do prophylactic antibiotics, which means a low-dose antibiotic for the rest of my life. And I'm like, are you kidding? I need to research this more. I need to do a more holistic approach. And they're like, okay. And let me just tell you about the cranberries too. If you or at the point I'm at anyway. The thing about cranberries is what it does is it has, I'm just going to call it Pax. It's a big old long word. Maybe I'll put it here. Okay. And what that does is it doesn't get rid of a UTI. What it does is it helps to control bacteria from attaching itself to the wall of your bladder, which can lead to a UTI. So the theory is if you drink cranberry juice every day, when you get this in your bladder, it's going to wash out. Okay, well, the thing is that the cranberry juice at the store, you go buy Ocean Spray and it's loaded with sugars and it doesn't have the packs in it that you need to be helpful. This is something I do every night. I take 2 of these. Is it working? I don't know. I would not do this alone for sure. Okay, I just don't have that kind of faith in the cranberries alone. Not when it's battling menopausal UTIs, okay? There's a whole host of reasons that you could have a UTI that maybe taking this every day would prevent you from getting, and maybe Eucora, I think that's what it's called, will help. I tried that too. I left that doctor's office and I went and I started researching. And like I said, this has been over a year ago, so I don't remember everything that I learned, but I learned enough to sign up for Eucora, I think is the name of it. If it's not, I'm so sorry that I butchered the name of that company. I will put what it is here. And I think that maybe for women who haven't gone through menopause yet, back when I was having the 3 UTIs in a year, that kind of thing, maybe it would have worked then, but it was not. And I did the whole thing. I did the whole 3-month thing. It didn't work. I kept getting the UTIs. So finally I was like, oh, I surrender. And I went back to see the urologist again, except this time I had done enough research on my own that I understood then that the reason that I keep getting UTIs has everything to do with a decline in estrogen. After estrogen packs its bags and leaves the building, there's a dramatic reduction in vaginal secretions and blood flow to the area, which can lead to a lot of dryness. The vaginal wall thins out, and then you lose that lactobacilli. You need the lactobacilli in order to maintain the pH levels of the vagina.
Just stop it right here. Editing Mary. I'm still not explaining what the vagina has to do with the bladder, am I? No. Sorry about that. We're going to take a little side road here while I do that. That lactobacilli is a good bacteria, and it takes care of the bad bacteria through the help of estrogen. So if you have estrogen, then lactobacilli thrives. But in the absence of it, the bad bacteria takes over, multiplies, and because of the vicinity of the vagina and the urethra, it gets into the bladder. Estrogen also encourages the production of natural antimicrobial substances in the bladder and causes the cells to be stronger, kind of like a glue that binds them together, so it's harder for the bacteria to get in.
You can buy probiotics that are like got tons of lactobacilli in it that's supposed to help, but I did that too. So the research that I did, I decided that this was actually going to be the choice for me. I thought, and I was scared of taking estrogen in a pill form, the kind that's linked to breast cancer and cardiovascular disease, but I learned that only about 1% of estrogen cream or other topical estrogen gets into the rest of the body. For me, that's an acceptable solution. I don't want to be on an antibiotic every day for the rest of my life. Definitely not going to live with a UTI. This is expensive. But if you use GoodRx, you can get this relatively cheap. You just take it, insert, plunger it in, then you just throw this away and go to bed. When I first started, it was every night for 6 weeks that I did that. And then it's just 3 nights a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I also take 2 of these every night because why not? It's not going to hurt me. But, you know, if I had to give up something, it would be this. It would not be this. This is a bioidentical hormone. It has the same molecular structure as estradiol that your body makes. It hasn't been proven that the bioidentical version of this is any safer for you than the synthetic version. I just feel safer using this. So now that the uncomfortableness is over with, how about we just exit out? I hope you guys know you're the best part of the Fritzy family. And if you're not part of the Fritzy family, well, I don't normally do this, okay? Normally it's a lot more lightweight and fun around here. So smash that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up on your way out. Until next time, love you, see ya. Bye. And I'm out.
So what was going on was what? It's been a year and 2 months since my last UTI. Now I feel like I'm giving a confession in a confessional. It's been a year and 2 months since my last UTI. People be like, oh, here comes Pee Pants. She's going to do her crunches now. Everybody leave the area. The older you get, the more it just keeps on coming. You know, it just keeps throwing it at you. Gosh darn it. What are we going to do? I don't know. Why am I talking like that? Who knows? It's part of my postmenopausal voice. You know, your husband's coming home every day and he's looking at this. You're just waiting on him to do something, right? And he's like, I'll see you later, honey. I'm going to the bar. Seriously, Shy Guy never did that. But he did tell the doctor he was scared of me. There was this new procedure called Mona Lisa Smiles, and That's a movie with Julia Roberts, you dumb butt. Boy, I bet Julia Roberts would... Never mind, don't go there. When you go through menopause, estrogen has left the building. It's like Elvis. It's left the building. Da-dun-da, da-dun-da, dun-dun-dun-da, dun-dun-dun-da. Yeah, estrogen has left the building.